But first, we're winning. That's the focus of tonight's angle. Now, in the GOP primary season, the two biggest dogs in the pen, they're already getting into it.
When the Ron DeSanctimonious facts come out, you will see that he's better than most Democrat governors, but very average at best compared to Republican governors who have done a fantastic job. Look at Disney and what a mess it is. Could have worked out an easy settlement, but no, he wanted to show the fake news how tough a guy he is. He's not.
He did great for 3 years, but when he turned the country over to Fauci in March of 2020, that destroyed millions of people's lives. And in Florida, we were one of the few that stood up, cut against the grain, took incoming fire from media, bureaucracy, the left, even a lot of Republicans.
Well, this is going to be fascinating to watch. We all know that, and we'll watch the drama through the debates. And while at times egos will be bruised and tempers will flare, let's not lose perspective or focus. Because as rough and tumble as things are going to get, we should never forget that on key issues, we're winning. On the debt ceiling, Speaker McCarthy has the White House backed into a corner. I love this. Although Democrats rarely break ranks, there are signs now that Biden's coalition is cracking. So as the deadline nears for a deal, well, it's hard to see how Democrats with their slim Senate majority don't end up demanding that Biden cut a deal because their majority is on the line next election. Now, the public wants spending cuts as part of the debt ceiling hike. We've seen those polls. And the House can say, look, we already passed a bill to do both, raise the debt ceiling and give you some spending cuts. And all the while, McCarthy did the impossible. He kept his fractious coalition together.
We knew this would not be easy. It's hard, but we're working, and we're going to continue to work till we get this done. We want to make sure this is an agreement worthy of the American people, and so it takes a while to make it happen, and we're working hard to make it happen.
Now, it's going so poorly for the White House that even far-left hate site Salon, they're panicking, saying from top to bottom, this administration cannot frame an argument, does not engage the press, and for reasons unknown, doesn't even appear to want to do either. Well, maybe, just maybe, guys, the basement campaign that Biden ran in 2020 should have kind of tipped you off. But of course, as we've said all along here on The Angle, the problem for Biden is one of substance and judgment. It's not a messaging problem, really. And meanwhile, Republicans, they finally convinced the public that the problem here with inflation and all these other, tangential problems that come off of that is runaway spending. And it's obvious that Biden totally misjudged what kind of shape the economy would be in at this point in the negotiations. It's in terrible shape, so he has no leverage. But McCarthy, he has plenty. And while the elites were writing the obituary, and I remember this well, for America First Republicans just a few years ago, today, the wisdom of their position is becoming more apparent by the day. Even Politico recognizes that Biden's new economic world order, that's falling apart. The goal is to replace the old paradigms of globalization, free trade, and reliance on the markets with a worker-centered trade policy. But Biden's brain trust has yet to settle on a vision for how the next era of global economics will be constructed. Their initial ideas are abstract at best. Well, abstract ideas is like kind of a nice way of saying failing agenda. And as far as Biden's brain trust is concerned, that's hilarious, even the phrase, they do have a clear agenda. Flood the country with non-Americans, break public trust in every institution, sow racial discord, and dismantle the middle class. All of that, by the way, toward the goal of empowering the elites here and the elites abroad, and along the way remaking the country we love so much. Meanwhile, populist conservatives, they're moving on the debate on reindustrializing the United States to keep us strong and independent. We saw what happened after COVID. Proposals to claw back essential manufacturing are becoming more popular. Now, DeSantis did discuss this last night. I want to hear more about that. It's about time. Now, in the same vein, Republicans are winning the debate on China. And who started that, really, in a political sense? It was Donald Trump. Even after China sent a surveillance balloon over the United States, Biden is still begging for really, robust re-engagement with China, as if he's almost bought and paid for. But the House GOP, citing the ongoing genocide against the Uyghurs, it's pushing for more sanctions on Chinese tech companies and curbs in U.S. investment over there. That's good stuff. So now who cares more about human rights again? Well, we do. And not just in China, but here in our own country, where Biden's open borders are enriching the cartels and leading to human trafficking, child sex trafficking, and intolerable conditions at the border. The border is now, by the way, one of the top 3 issues of concern in public opinion surveys. So both Trump and DeSantis are going to be telling Americans that it's not just Central Americans flooding the country. We're now seeing a record number of Chinese border crossers as well. Now check this reporting out from the Daily Caller News Foundation. Border Patrol encountered 3,182 migrants from China at the U.S.-Mexico border in April alone. Chinese migrants have been found with large sums of U.S. currency, according to Border Patrol agents. In total, Border Patrol has encountered 9,711 Chinese migrants at the southern border between October 2022 and April, marking an already roughly 393% increase compared to all of fiscal year 2022. This is disturbing, to say the least. And by the way, on this issue, it's so bad for the cities that even liberal mayors are demanding help from the feds. It's a classic kind of NIMBY moment, not in my backyard, for liberals who are finally getting a taste of their own medicine when it comes to immigration. And of course, we all know who's winning on the cultural issues. The left started this war against traditionalism, and now they're shocked that Americans and new immigrants are fighting back. Finally, this was great to see in Michigan, Muslim Americans are joining the fight against the sexualized curricula in our schools. Went to school board meetings, and they're speaking out. And they tell me that Bud Light is literally being given away in some convenience stores after the Dylan Mulvaney trans fiasco. That backfired big time. And how about the wins in Republican-controlled state legislatures? They're rolling in. Obviously in Florida with DeSantis on the move there, but in Montana, in Texas, and even places like Purple, North Carolina. The Democrat governor there is freaking out because of a 12-week abortion ban. Well, too bad, Governor. Them's the breaks. And now, on top of all of this, you think about this in a historical context. The party of FDR and JFK has now become the party of gender mutilation for children. But this is backfiring on the Democrats hugely. Look at these headlines. I mean, one after the other. Transgender surgery, ban advances in North Carolina, bans on transition care for young people spread across the United States, et cetera, et cetera. We didn't have enough time on the show to put all the headlines up. So we're eating their lunch on all of these issues. But the left, what do they have to offer? Racially divisive rhetoric and declining living standards. And meanwhile, our presidential primary, it's going to get tough. We know that. But given everything I told you tonight, win after win after win, we need to remain focused on the issues that are important to the public. Immigration and the economy, 1 and 2. And also the broad areas of agreement that all the Republican candidates share, but especially DeSantis and Trump. And do not miss, as things get exceedingly tough, the words and sometimes the actions during this primary, the good news. We're winning, and we're just getting started. And that's The Angle.
Hey, Sean Hannity here. Hey, click here to subscribe to Fox News YouTube page and catch our hottest interviews and most compelling analysis. You will not get it anywhere else.